Officials warn about a potential meat shortage in the coming weeks and months. We'll talk to a Southern Kentucky meat processor about how he is adapting. Estill County is one of several counties in Kentucky still without any confirmed cases of COVID-19. We'll let you know what leaders there are doing to try and keep it that way.
Soggy weather has returned, but how long will it stick around? I'll have that answer right now at 4:30.
COVID-19 is wreaking havoc on the nation's food supply. Yesterday, President Trump took executive action declaring meat processing plants critical infrastructure. It comes in the wake of several plants that have been hit hard with positive cases. The owner of a meat processor in Pulaski County told WYMT's Will Puckett, while it impacts large-scale distributions, their business is adapting.
Summit Meat Processing is working on finding their footing in this new way of operating because of COVID-19. As many restaurants go to pickup and delivery, they have lost some of the restaurant portion of their business. But that loss is mostly covered as they pick up more in-store orders and public customers. Co-owner Kyle Turpin says while they're a small meat processor, their supply chain has not shown signs of interruption because they're buying from local farmers.
All our people are local. You know, cattle prices have jumped down a little bit through this, so they would rather sell to us, you know, at a higher rate and us know that we're getting really good quality stuff.
Now, Turpin says he appreciates everything his employees are doing as this COVID-19 pandemic continues on. He did add that they are following all CDC guidelines as they apply to their industry. In Pulaski County, Will Puckett, WYMT Mountain News.
Well, as we know, people need to eat, so agriculture can't stop. Today, we heard from Kentucky Agriculture Commissioner Ryan Quarles during an interview with WKYT's Bill Bryant. They talked about the Kentucky Hunger Initiative, something he says is helping Kentuckians all across the state.
And so when I started the Hunger Initiative, we wanted to make sure that we had an easy way to connect Kentucky farmers with our food banks to help out those Kentuckians in need. And right now, we're seeing a surge across Kentucky and our nation of Americans relying on food banks to put food on their table. Right now, we are using our food banks to get food that would otherwise rot in the field, that may not have a market, food that may have gone to a restaurant customer for a restaurant that now is closed, get that food into our food banks and distribute it to those in need.
Well, as we mentioned earlier at 4, expanded testing is helping health officials get a better picture of how many COVID-19 cases are here in eastern Kentucky. Testing at primary care centers in Hazard helped them identify 9 new cases from testing Monday, 7 alone in Perry County. And the ages range from a teenager to someone in their 70s. They urge everyone to get tested. Meanwhile, we also learned of 3 new cases today in Pike County. The governor will address the state as usual, but from a different location today, beginning at 5 o'clock. Now, there are still a few counties without any positive cases, 8 to be exact, so not many left. And most of those are here in eastern Kentucky, one of them being Estill County. Olivia Russell tells us what leaders there are trying to do to keep that number low.
The bell at the Estill County Courthouse rings every day at 10 a.m., joining others across the Commonwealth who are trying to boost spirits during the COVID-19 pandemic. But this community has been lucky so far.
We're thankful for it, really, you know.
It's one of only 8 counties in Kentucky without any confirmed cases. Judge Executive Donnie Watson says it's all thanks to the people there.
The businesses and the people in the county have really complied, and we're thankful for that. And without their compliance, we wouldn't be where we are.
But just because they haven't had a confirmed case yet doesn't mean Estill County is in the clear. Watson agrees it's possible that someone in the county could be asymptomatic or have a very mild case. That raises the question of if there's enough testing. Even though there's no widespread testing in the county, Watson says there are still options for people who are showing signs of the virus.
The ones that are being tested are going to Richmond, most of them. The health department can do tests, and possibly the hospital do a few.
He also knows that a positive test could come back any day now, so following CDC guidelines is still important. But Watson is confident in this community, especially after such a strong start.
And hopefully we can continue down the road like we're going.
In Estill County, Olivia Russell, WYMT Mountain News.
89 people have been tested so far in Estill County. The results for 2 tests are still pending. Harlan County also does not have any confirmed cases right now. As we mentioned yesterday, people who would like to get tested can call Dr. Abdul Dahan's office. They urge to call first, though, because they've had difficulty getting enough tests. 2 professionals at Hazard Community and Technical College have used their 3D printers to produce face shields for Bluegrass Care navigators. The shields added a much-needed inventory to their personal protective equipment, or PPEs. The technology used to make them allows the shields to be made efficiently. HCTC President Tony Back says this is an honor to help the local community during these times.
You try to help your community, but you never imagine exactly this situation. And we were able to help Bluegrass Care navigators by providing them with 100 fully assembled face shields.
Academic Dean for HCTC. Now, the nurses at Bluegrass Care Navigators said the shields allow them to do more things, and they are truly grateful for the equipment. While it could have went anywhere, it stayed right here at home. Louisville Slugger is shifting its focus from bats to masks. Hillerick and Bradsby says their masks are antibacterial, water repellent, and good for 10 washes. They are calling their take on PPE Maskonic. You can buy a 4-pack for $16.99 now on maskonic.com.
Heavy rain is now moving through the mountains, but earlier this morning it was actually pretty nice out there. We could see that transform here on our Interstate 75 camera over in London. Really not a cloud in the sky. Those clouds increased pretty quickly, and so do those rain chances, and very heavy rainfall has already fallen over there, but they are going to continue to see those rain chances heading into the rest of this evening. As we look at Pinpoint Doppler, seeing that heavier band starting to move into parts of Breathitt County, a little bit Clay, maybe into Leslie here in a second, Whitley, and especially down into parts of Knox County. So Barberville getting hit with some heavier rain right now. Starting to see some heavy pockets here in Perry County. Can hear it a little bit on the roof. Areas along I-75 should be getting somewhat of a break. Some lighter rain going to start moving into that area. Wind still kind of picking up though over towards Prestonsburg, Pikeville, Wise, as they're still seeing those gusty winds, but you can see where that rain is, where that cold front is. They're starting to die down. Remember that wind advisory did expire at 2, and those temperatures dropping very quickly into the 60s in Jackson, 70s over into Pikeville and Prestonsburg, but 50 back towards Williamsburg, Somerset, London, and Irvin, as they've already seen that rain. Now heading into tonight, we're going to see those scattered showers after this main line moves in. We're going to see them become more scattered, but those gloomy conditions continue tomorrow. I'll have the rest of that forecast coming up in a little bit.
All right, thank you very much, Paige. The United States now has more than 1 million confirmed cases of the novel coronavirus and has just topped 60,000 deaths. The climbing death toll comes as more states move to ease restrictions. Florida is announcing its reopening plans today, even though the state reported its highest daily death toll on Tuesday. In California, the governor suggested schools could reopen as early as July to make up for lost learning. President Trump is meeting with more industry executives this afternoon at the White House as he continues to push towards the reopening of the country. During the White House meeting with Louisiana Governor John Bel Edwards, Dr. Anthony Fauci announced an NIH trial using the drug remdesivir is showing promise in hospitalized COVID-19 patients.
Data shows that remdesivir has a clear-cut, significant positive effect in diminishing the time to recovery. What it is proven is that a drug can block this virus.
And encouraging news there. Dr. Fauci says more drug trials can build on those results. The Small Business Administration says that today only from 4 p.m. till midnight Eastern Time, it will not accept applications for the Paycheck Protection Program from lenders with more than $1 billion in assets. A Kentucky county is seeing more evidence of the grip that opioids and other drugs have on so many people. The Madison County coroner says he's seen more overdoses recently. As Krista Frost tells us, some officials say a program meant to help people in need may have carried an unintended consequence.
It seemed like things were looking up.
They were a little down, maybe first quarter of 2019.
Less people calling 911 for drug overdoses. Then COVID-19 hit.
But around mid-year really started spiking up again and continued at pretty much all-time levels.
More people at home, depressed, without a support system. Whatever the reason, the increase is substantial.
During the month of April, running the statistics, through the first 3 weeks, we saw a 75% increase in the number of overdose patients that we administered Narcan to. So that's a pretty drastic increase.
Often many of these drug overdose patients don't survive.
I can tell you that I had 3 in a 24-hour period. 2 of those were confirmed today.
About 5 total deaths in the last 2.5 weeks. And the reason?
I looked at it and he had 12 $100 brand new $100 bills in his pocket. Actually, he had 11, and the other $100 bill was in it, but it was folded up, and inside of it was what we thought was heroin.
Madison County emergency officials think stimulus checks have a lot to do with it. They're basing that off what they see when people get government money at the beginning of the month.
We do see an increase typically the first 3 or 4 days, or the first week of each month, and it will kind of trail off a little bit throughout the month. But
I am not bashing that. You know, we had to do something for people to survive.
In Madison County, Krista Frost, WKYT.
Both the EMS director and coroner say they expect this weekend to be filled with calls since May 1st falls on a Friday. A death investigation is underway this afternoon in southern Kentucky. Deputies in Pulaski County say skeletal remains were found in the southern end of the county. Officials say they don't really know much at this point. We're still working to get more information about that case. Nearby in Wayne County, crews are serving search warrants in the Ella Jackson case. We have some video, I believe, from Kentucky 1765 near Conley Bottom. A neighbor tells us Jackson and her husband had a vacation home there. The Madison County mother went missing in October. Last week, Richmond police charged her husband, Glenn, with murder. Coming up on Mountain News at 4:30, a big reminder for everyone out there, Mother's Day is right around the corner. Well, I have some ideas for making Mother's Day special, even if you can't be with her in person.
And after that cold front moves through, it's going to bring us some very cold air Thursday and Friday, but we see those 70s return by the weekend. But when do we see that sunshine return? I'll have that answer coming up in a little bit.